I'm Father Terrance, and many non-Catholics and even some Catholics actually wonder why we think Mary is so special. The reason is pretty simple. It's because Mary is the new Eve. Now, hear me out on this one. Hold on for a second. St. Paul speaks of Jesus Christ being the new Adam or second Adam. He says that in 1 Corinthians 15, verse 45. And he says that Adam in the Old Testament was a type of Jesus in Romans 5, verse 14. So the early church fathers like St. Justin Martyr, St. Irenaeus, Tertullian, Origen, St. Ephrem, they all asked, well, if Jesus is the new Adam, who's the new Eve? And they all answered, it's Mary. Adam and Eve were types. They were precursors of the new and true Adam and Eve who came onto the scene of history, as St. Paul says, in the fullness of time. He says in Galatians 4:4, meaning that the fullness of God's whole plan of creation and redemption is achieved in the incarnation and by means of Mary. In fact, when we Franciscans read the first words of the Bible, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, Genesis 1:1, well, we understand that phrase to be somewhat elliptical. We understand it to mean essentially in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth for Jesus and Mary. They were first in God's mind when he chose to create. Just as we are the offspring of the first Adam and Eve by nature, meaning we all come from them, they're our first parents, so too all of us who are spiritually reborn have the new Adam and the new Eve as our spiritual parents. We are Adam and Eve's children by nature. We're Jesus and Mary's children by grace. In the Old Testament, Eve is called the mother of all the living, Genesis 3, verse 20. So now in the time of the church, Mary is the mother of all those who are spiritually alive in Christ. She first gave birth to and nurtured Jesus, who is the head of the mystical body, as St. Paul calls him in Ephesians 1, verses 22 and 23. And then she gave birth to and nurtured the members of Christ's mystical body. St. Augustine calls Mary the mother of the Christus totus. He says the total Christ, meaning both the head and the body, which is what we are. This is why Jesus, undoing the sin of Adam, says to St. John from the cross, he says, behold your mother. Luke. Oh, it's John 19, verse 27. And then St. John says in his gospel, he says, and from that hour, the disciple took her into his own home. The Greek text actually there literally says he took her into his own, meaning not just into his home, but he took her into his heart as well. So Mary is so special, one, because Jesus chose her to be his mother, and two, because he gave her to us as our mother. And any gifts that Jesus gives us, we should welcome and cherish and embrace those gifts too. Lastly, I'll just share a thought which the cure of ours, St. John Vianney, had on Our Lady. He said, and I'll put this kind of into my own words, he says that if you take the hearts of all the mothers in the world and you put them into one hand, so the hearts of all those who love their children the most or should love their children the most, you put all the hearts of all the mothers into one hand. In the other hand, he says, you put the heart of Our Lady. He says, all the hearts of all the mothers in the world are like a piece of ice compared to the heart of Our Lady, he says. She loves you so very, very much, more than you can imagine. Reach out to her in prayer, and she will reach back out to you as well and help you to discover how much you are loved by her. I'm Father Terrance again. Ave Maria, thank you so much for listening. Please keep me in your prayers. I will keep you in mine as well. Thank you, and God bless you. Take care.